Ganapataye Namaha. Today, I would like to discuss general goal of human life. The topic is that, before that, prayer. Kaladhyakshah Prajadyakshho Vishwakarma Tamonudaha Varuna Sagar Om Shushcha Jimoto Jivanoriha. We, if we all did the things we are capable of, we would astound ourselves. That is said by Thomas Alva Edison. When setting personal goals, we should first take stock of where we already are. Perhaps you have done quite well financially, but your personal relationships are severely lacking. Maybe your marriage is secure and amicable, but in the area of romance, the fire has long dimmed. We need to take an honest assessment of where we have succeeded and where we have failed. Then we can determine how to go forward. With this in mind, here are 10 primary goals to accomplish as you plan for life in the next 10 years. 1. Marriage and family harmony. Maintaining and expanding, as well as restoring and healing. As healing in this area should absolutely be a top priority in your personal goals. Pinpoint the relationships in the direst condition. It could be your marriage is in severe trouble. Possibly your relationships with an ex-wife creates great pain in your entire family. Perhaps it's effective communication issues with your children. Wherever the danger points are, the goal is to determine them and devise a plan for resolving the issues. Be sure to highlight where you have succeeded as well and how you might grow those seeds elsewhere. The goal is a family living in peace and harmony. Next, second point. Proper mindset and balance. Carefully consider the man you want to be and set your sights on how to achieve it. Your mindset needs to be improper balance. Too much or too little of any one particular ingredient can send you in the wrong directions. Personal growth occurs as well as begin to learn exactly who we are, our strengths and our weaknesses. Smart goals are ones we set that grows us in a positive way. Carefully consider the man you want to be and set your sights on how to achieve it. Next, commitment to improve physical health. A good place to start when talking about life goals is to make sure you actually have a life 10 years from now. That certainly starts with good physical health. There are no guarantees on living a long life, but it is possible to greatly increase your odds. Listen to your doctor when he tells you to lose those 25 extra pounds. Create an exercise plan that you enjoy and relish. Make sure that 10 years from now you are as vibrant and capable as you are right now. Another, career passion and personal satisfaction. When people set goals, they almost and always look towards their careers first. That is a mistake. But that's not to say your career is not important, because it certainly is. Once again, balance is required to fully reach your career potential. No matter what it is you do, employers respond very positively to employees they can trust. Healthy attitudes, strong aptitude, and good people skills are always essential to get ahead. The 10 years goal here should be to passionately enjoy your chosen profession while maintaining excellent balance between home and work. Next, develop empathy and gentleness. As men, we tend to chug along aspiring to be what men should be: strong, protective, and determined providers. But what about the other side? Compassion, empathy, and gentleness. The ability to tell the people that mean the most to us that we love them. 10 years from now, strive to become fully complete emotionally. Next, financial stability is also one of the important factor. Getting your financial house in order is an essential priority in your 10 years planning. Strive to lower or eliminate your debt, increase your savings, and build your family security. Check out all Prodad friend Dave Ramsey for great advice in this area. Next, service and social responsibility. Despite our severe issue, America is still the wealthiest nation on earth. We have a duty and a responsibility to do good works with our blessings. For example, Coach Tony Dongri places a high priority on mentoring. Research and discover an area of need that ignites your passions. Create a 10-year plan to become permanently active in the needs of your community and include your entire family. Another one, stress busting leisure time. We have talked about healing family relationships, moving ahead in your career, straightening out your finances, serving others. But how about a little you time? Stress can be a killer. It is important that time is set aside to relax and just enjoy life. However, you see fit to do so is up to you. Just make sure that in your 10-year planning, leisure is included. Next, continuing education. Every day, lived is another piece of your education. What are you doing with the knowledge you have absorbed? 10 years from now, you will not be the same man and will not be the same thoughts. That process needs to be focused and harmful. At the same time, it should be focused and also be nurtured. Do not fear change because it's going to come anyway. Embrace it and shape it instead. Set your goals so that 10 years from now you're a wiser, more adaptable, and more complete. Next, expanding and growing faith. With all due respect to the readers who consider faith a silly notion, we believe it is the most important item on this list. Without faith, a deep belief in meaning and purpose greater than you, this whole list is pretty much pointless. If there is nothing greater and nothing beyond, then who really cares about any of this? Start and finish your 10-year planning based on growing your faith and becoming the man God created you to be. We must assume that every human is in some way, consciously or unconsciously, goal directed to some degree. Goals tend to be immediate. The satisfaction of hunger, the avoidance or relief of physical suffering, the accomplishment of an immediate work task, or the achievement of some other narrowly defined objective. But do all humans have an ultimate goal, something toward which their entire life is being directed? It may be said that for most humans, the well being of their families is of such high value that they are willing to sacrifice their own personal well being for that of their spouses or children. Human altruism at its deepest level. Similar altruism is often demonstrated by humans in very strongly united in groups of other kinds. Combat units, for example, where one member will reflexively sacrifice himself for the good of the unit. So, it may be said that for the majority of humans, the success and well being of the people with whom they are most closely associated and with most deeply identify in their chief goal and indeed their true ultimate goal. For many humans, their own personal success and well being supersede the needs of any other individual or group. They are in the game solely for themselves, and everyone else is expandable. We tend to label such people as sociopaths, but their existence is common and therefore must be counted as an adoptional success. There are also individuals who count themselves the most important people in the world but still maintain loyalty to others to various degrees. This loyalty, however, does not tend to extend to self sacrifice. It would be preferable to such people if they didn't have to sacrifice the well being of family or friends, but if they deem such an action necessary, they will do it. Of course, Many people are capable of changing one way or the other, either becoming more altruistic or less so, depending on changes in their external circumstances, emotional trauma, or changes in the anatomy and physiology of their brains. The human experience, therefore, is not only in constant flux due to the birth and death of new members of the species, but it is also changed by shifting patterns of human loyalty, altruism, selflessness, and selfishness. For many humans, at the poorest end of the economic spectrum, the ultimate goal is mere physical survival from day to day, never mind well being or security. They seek to obtain for themselves and their loved ones the bare requirements of subsistence. For them, the very notion of an ultimate goal for their lives would an absurdity. They are too absorbed in the struggle of daily life to have time or energy to consider such a useless topic. Humans are also provided with goals by the religious groups with whom they might be affiliated. The vast majority of human adults consider themselves to be members of an organized religious group of some sort. For such people, the ultimate goal of their own and the loved ones' well being may involve a strong desire of salvation. Significantly, salvation also involves avoidance of damnation and the attendant endless terrible suffering it would be entail. In other phase, it may be the escape from rebirth and the attainment of nirvana or a state of perfection which is beyond definition. For most humans, the survival of their personal identity and ego in some form is a major part of the ultimate personal life goal. Many of the major religions and philosophies have postulated one. Naturally, every believer in such ultimate goals has had or does have his or her own highly personal and unique understanding of just what these desirable worlds would be like. We must assume that no two understandings or conceptions coincide completely, although they may possess a great deal of similarity with other views. It is probable, moreover, that such conceptions of the ultimate goal or the ideal world are somewhat hazy and indistinct. The actual details of day to day life in such a world may be completely unknown or unimaginable by depending on their intelligence and imaginative capacities. Different humans may have very different ideas about these matters. Aside from personal, religious, philosophical, or ideological views of the ultimate goal, what other possibilities are there? First, we had to put a question. And where is the human species heading? Heading. Such a vision might include such criteria as the what you say abolition of all forms of material deprivation, the abolition of disease, the prevention or instantaneous healing of all injuries, universal literacy and universal advanced education, the elimination of all forms of political tyranny, the abolition of war, and the establishment of permanent universal peace, an end to all forms of interpersonal violence of all kinds, and the abolition of suffering itself, the abolition of sin, sense, and death, and an ill-defined sort of general happiness for all people. The ultimate goal may also include in it the abolition of work and the establishment of universal leisure time in which all voluntary pursuits could be enjoyed. Perhaps the ultimate goal may be every human knowing and utilizing everything that is knowable, isn't it? Seeing into the deep future, the ultimate goal may be the perpetuation and spread of human species itself. Since the earth is under a death sentence from the future expansion of the sun, humanity will have to abandon the planet in order to survive. Humans may ultimately establish various outposts in the immediate universe, and from those they might survive many more hundreds of billions of years in some way, shape, or form. No speculation about what those descendants may or may not be like can be taken seriously. When stated this badly, it seems like a very, very tall order indeed, and given human weaknesses and inadequacies quite beyond attainment, we think we humans are far more likely to destroy ourselves through our own incompetence, bad luck, malice, lack of understanding, or inaction. At the very least, we will quite possibly be condemned to a semi permanent state of barbarism and degradation. Given our past and the many times we have seen our progress and achievements collapse, we are compelled to take a dark view of where we will ultimately end up. In our admittedly cynical opinion, the best we can ever see us doing is the construction of a world that's not bad. Alright, better than it is used to be, adequate, acceptable. Now, Life goes to focus on living a fulfilling life. Many people want to succeed in life, whether in their business, family life, or hobbies. However, only a select few realize that having the right goals in life will carry you toward the dream of having your best days in front of you. Before we jump into the list of goals, we want to mention that most of those are habit goals, not achievement goals. Achievement goals are smart goals. They are time keyed goals that usually have a what to say finish live that you can reach. Habit goals, on the other hand, do not have a finish line per se. They work by breaking achievement goals down into smaller pieces. For example, if I want to read 12 books per year, I could set a habit of reading for 30 minutes per day or reading a set 100 of pages per day. Either this or that. Habit goals can also help you move the needle on the aspirational things. Let us pick up the concept of the habit goals from Michael Heath, and he uses the example of growing closer to God, which is a little vague yet aspirational. By setting a habit goal of reading his Bible for 20 minutes daily, he can work towards growing closer to God. There is no finish line in sight, and the habit goal does not move him closer to a finished line because there is always the opportunity to be a little closer to God. The list of habits and goals we can outline below will help us live a fulfilling life. Living a fulfilling is not something you can check a box on. It's an attitude, something you have to strive for, everybody. The primary reason that life goals are important is that they save time and reduce anxiety. The importance of decision fatigue is often overlooked when it comes to goals. Success or failure is determined by our micro decisions. Those seemingly unimportant choices that we make hundreds of times per day. We have human. We are option to take the path of least resistance. It is only the clarity that we have about what we want that gives the motivation to select the harder choices. Every day we have too many decisions to make. Each decision may occur in natural way. If your goals are not top of the mind, these discussions are made difficult. preventing us from doing anything. If your goals are clean, decision fatigue reduced, and your choices become easier. The second reason is the measurement. It sounds weak. It is soundless like the kind of reason that people say without really thinking about it. Human purpose is a fantastic subject for college philosophy debates. It is something most of us wonder before we get engrossed in real, tangible, immediate life challenges. We flirt with the question because this idea is intriguing and wondrous. To some, it is a nagging itch. That chart forever needs scratching but never stops itching. Shekanthay Kalyan and Redan Sri Venkatanivasaయ Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangala Jasnavayamadancharya Puramai Sarvaesha Purvai Racharya Sarvataya Astu Mangalam.